I'm very happy to be here and not at home in New York where I live, because I don't know if you heard, but New York City had an earthquake today, which, you know, would be terrifying if it wasn't already New York City. There's so much happening in New York all the time. It's fun to think about where everybody was during that earthquake, you know? There's a lot of crime in New York. Somebody was getting robbed during that earthquake. Somebody was in the middle of like, give me everything. Don't move! No. Some people were in their apartment. Apartment shakes. Buildings are so old and decrepit, they're like, I knew it was gonna collapse one day. I was just hoping I'd be at work when it did, but it's an odd thing, you know? Maybe somebody is visiting New York. They just got there, very excited. And you know that annoying type of, oh Lord, okay. Not talking about you. It just sounded like so much stuff. Like that, it's clearly more than one plate. Oh, but maybe somebody just got there and they're very excited. They're like, ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get some street food. I'm gonna get an authentic New York hot dog. This is gonna be amazing. And then earthquake hits. And then they are covered in hot dog water. It'd honestly be the most New York experience they could have. Another thing, I think enough time has passed that I can talk about it without it being awkward. Like, one of the weirdest things to me about 2020 in general was, you know how there's bunker people? There are people that save up a bunch of money to build a bunker in different types. Some people build a bunker underground. Some people have a different location they're gonna go to if things hit the fan and everything. Some people have like a whole site that they've built and stuff. And we've always, for years, for decades, made fun of them, right? It's something that started in the Cold War because they were so sure that the Russians were gonna bomb us that they started to make bunkers, and it was a normal thing. Then, as those sort of fears started to disappear a little bit, it became less common. But then there were some people who were still like, guys, something's wrong. Some bad things could happen. So they made bunkers, but then they started making it with, you know, their personal wealth and everything. And we made fun of them all the time, you know? And then 2020 hits, global pandemic that affects everyone in every country. And almost all the bunker people were like, that shit ain't real. But you built in case the whole world. Can I go in the bunker? Oh, man. I've been thinking a lot about just the general power of marketing, of ads and everything. And I don't know about y'all, but I always feel like I'm smarter than ads. Like, I always feel like, that's ad. I can see it. That's product placement. You can't fool me. You're not going to get me. That's an ad. And I always feel like I'm better than advertising, like I'm above it all. But I do have a bunch of stuff that I don't use, that I don't really remember why I got it. You know? And I think it's something that we need to pay more attention to, just the power of marketing, how influential it is, you know? Like imagine, just imagine a world where you work at some sort of agency, right? An ad agency, whatever, some type of marketing agency. And not now, right? Let's go even further back to when people were paying even less attention to ads and they were served less of them every day, right? Let's say, you know, 70s, 80s maybe, and you're working at this agency. And you go in one day to work, just any regular day. And let's say you're like co-VP or something like that. You're high up there, right? And then you get into the building and everybody crying. You don't know why. People are walking out with those, those cardboard boxes specifically for when you're fired. Everybody got one. Shaking, walking about, running out and everything. And you're like, what happened? And no one's even answering you. As you pass by people, you're like, what happened? They're like, no. And then you get to your office. Maybe you share an office with somebody. And so you look at your partner and you're like, hey, what's everybody so upset about? What happened? Right? And then he's devastated. He's like, oh, it's horrible. One of our biggest accounts, top accounts, right? One of our top accounts, Kool-Aid, that some cult grabbed some Kool-Aid and they put a bunch of cyanide in it. They did like a mass thing. I don't know, the client is freaking out, People may never buy the product again. We don't know what to do. This could be the end for us, because if they close, we close, right? And then you, being the brilliant marketing agent that you are, you stand there in the moment that this is happening. The day that the news has reached your office and you're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's lean into it. They drank the Kool-Aid. It's just that good. You think about it. Any other product, any other time frame, that product would be done. You know what I mean? Like if a bunch of people killed themselves with Snickers, I don't know if we would all be like, you're not you when you're hungry. You know what I mean? That's the power. To this day, even after a tragedy like that, to this day, people be at the barbecue like, pass me some of that red. That's some good stuff, And the thing about it is that on its own, it's not bad, right? On its own, you're just trying to sell something. You're just trying to make a buck. And maybe it's something that people will like. In an ideal world, all the marketing leads the people to what they want anyway, right? But it doesn't always work that way, because we found that the easiest way to make money is to make people feel like they don't have something, to make them feel less. So then if I'm less, maybe this thing will make me more and it'll make me enough, right? Because if we never feel like we're enough, then we always need a little something else, right? And that's how they make money. If you were always content all the time, no one would be able to sell anything to you, And so on its face, it's not bad what they're doing. But when they're all doing it at the same time, and it's most of what you see, when it's ads all the time being like, you're not this, you could be this, you could be better, right? It just starts to make you feel terrible. It starts to make you feel like you don't matter at all. And I hope one takeaway that you have from the show, not just laughing, I hope that you walk away from the show feeling like you matter as a person, right? Because you do. It's very important that you feel like you matter, that you have influence, because you do, right? A world where you think you don't matter terrifies me, because it means that all of the little pieces, all the interactions that you're supposed to be having with other people are going to be missed out on because you think you don't matter, right? Like we all sometimes feel like a little cog, like a little bolt, just in a big piece of machinery, right? Because the bigger picture is bigger than all of us. But you are so important. Even if you feel like you're that little bolt, you're very important. It's not the same without you. I hope you understand that. You're as important as every bolt on the door of a Boeing plane. Because maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe at the factory when they were building the plane, they didn't screw the bolt down all the way, so then the little bolt's like, do I even matter? If they don't care, why should I care? Then mid-flight, it's like, I give up. I don't care. And then the door flies open, you're like, oh! What the hell? Because you're the window seat. Oh. And now you got the CEO of Boeing, David Calhoun. It's important to say their names. No, it is. They always just get to move like these faceless people that don't do anything and then get to enjoy them. It's like, no, his name is David Calhoun, and we should all know it and say it and hopefully find him. Just to chat. You know? But no, he's stepping down, and I don't know. I don't like that. He's stepping down now, and I think that should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to go. You should have to stay until it's fixed. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy that you messed it up. And now you're leaving with a severance package, by the way, with a, articles call it a golden parachute. How ironic. You get to leave, but you messed the whole thing up. You know? And I know he's not fully alone, but he's the lead. You know, when you're the CEO, you're the captain, you know? And he gets to leave? That's crazy. And he gets to leave richer for messing it up. That's mind-blowing. He should have to stay until it's fixed. This should be the last job he's allowed to ever have. Until it's fixed, you know? And if it closes, then no more work for you. And by no more work, I don't mean you get to go off and enjoy. I mean, you will not make another dollar for the rest of your life. You need some stakes to be in the game, you know? Because I had a friend actually take up for the process. I had a friend be like, but Josh, now that he's stepping down, someone good could step in. Someone that cares, someone that could fix the thing. And I'm like, are you brand new? Like, what? In what world is that going to happen? That's so crazy. I told him the same thing I'm going to tell you now. Imagine you're on a flight, right? Middle row, middle seat. You're not having a good life. And you're on this flight, and during the flight, you feel this incredible turbulence. And I'm not talking about those air pockets where you drop a little bit. I'm talking about you're hearing noises you've never heard before. It's just like terrifying stuff, all happening at one time. And it's not just like a little bump, bump, bump. You're swinging, you're slamming into things and everything. Those air masks drop down. You know, the ones that definitely don't work. I hate that part of the demonstration so much, by the way. They always put the thing on and everything, and then they're like, the mask may not inflate, but oxygen is still flowing. It's like, that sounds like something you'd say to a dead person. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. The mask may not inflate at all, but I promise it's still working because you won't be able to tell anyone it didn't. Mind blow. No, I swear. You know? But let's say that's happening. You're in it. They're screaming, people crying, people praying, people tearing up and everything. And in the midst of all this turbulence, the cockpit door swings open. And the captain walks out. And the captain doesn't walk out to say, hey, everybody, we have it under control. Please don't panic, right? Captain doesn't come out there to say, look, the PA system broke. I just want to tell you myself, we're all going to make it. We're all going to be okay. I'm going to make sure we make a safe landing, right? The cockpit swings open and the captain comes out to say, I've decided to resign from my position as your captain. It's been an honor, but I can no longer uphold the standard of this plane, and so I will be leaving. Wearing a parachute, by the way. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you, because I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I know I messed everything up, but I'll be okay, okay? And then he jumps out of the already open door. No, shouldn't be allowed. I need to make a confession to you guys. I can't see very well. I have bad eyes. My eyes are very dumb. I might as well have 2 feet where my eyes are. That's how useful my eyes are. I actually went to the optometrist, and he sat me down, and he put the thing in front of my face. I don't know what it's called, but it's the thing from the Justin Timberlake album where he, like, put it in front of, and then
And then he was like, better, worse, better, worse. I was like, oh, it's all bad. Yeah. And he was like, better, worse. I was like, can't you just tell me? He's like, I can't tell you, I don't have your eyes. Just try, better, worse. I was like, none of it's good. And then he put his hands on his knees and exhaled, walked out, and then his nurse walked in and said he rescheduled, and he never did. So my optometrist ghosted me. So my eyes are still very bad.
I'm a little man. And like, this thing, I'm not the smallest person you've seen, but I'm just small enough that if I was yelling at my girlfriend in public, it wouldn't bother anybody. Like usually when you see them, you're like, hey, calm down, is there a problem here, buddy? But for me, it's like, oh, he needs a nap. I know I'm not the only one that this is for, but like I have an incredibly white voice. Everyone tells me how white my voice is, and I didn't know how white it was until like really recently I came to terms with it. And this is how I know, guys. I phone interview very well. Guys, I crush phone interviews. I hurt feelings, okay? And my name is Josh Johnson, which is basically a resume template. So then I show up and they try not to act disappointed, but we all know what happened. I know you're feeling catfish right now. Let me start on Monday. If you're looking at me and you're like, this guy's been mugged, you'd be right. I'm very muggable. You need to know me. I don't know if other guys in the room do this. Help me out if you do. When you see a dude coming towards you that looks threatening, do you think in your head how you're gonna have to take him? Does that come across your mind? Because the way I can fight in my head is astounding. And the way I fight in real life, not so much. It's pretty terrible. So this dude was coming towards me. He looked threatening, was looking right at me, coming right at me. I thought in my head, oh, looks like we're going to have to Jason Bourne this. I'm going to jump up in the air, do 3 flips. I don't want to do 3, but we need to do what needs to be done. You know, bring my knee down his face, crack his skull, punch him in the face so he's incapacitated. That was my plan. This dude's plan was, I'm going to punch this guy in the face and take his wallet. So we met up. He had a much better plan than I did. His plan was on fire, execution, everything. Some of you guys don't know about me. If you punch me hard enough in the face, I pee. So we met up. He punched me in the face. I hit the ground, started peeing around Q. I don't disappoint, okay? Now he's trying to fit his huge muscular hand into my pocket to take my wallet, but his hand gets stuck because my pants fit. Go figure, I know. But now his hand is stuck in my pants, but he can see the pee stain getting bigger. And my pants are like, he's lifting me off the ground at this point. I weigh 125. Forget it! And he leaves. Guys, who needs karate? Am I right? I did get the cops called to my apartment. Last year I got the cops called to my apartment because my neighbor thought that I was beating my girlfriend. So I had to explain to the police, not only do I not have a girlfriend, but it's just me in here. Sounding crazy enough to be 2 people. And in my defense, I was losing a fight to a ceiling fan. Let me explain. We've been to the moon, and we use little pieces of glass to talk to other people on the other side of the world if we choose, but there's still no clear indication when to stop pulling the drawstring on a ceiling fan. Now I'm chilly. I was warm before, now I'm chilly. I like the ceiling fan stop because I'm chilly, okay? And it's just going... So the cops come, right? So the cops come, and they don't arrest me, but they feel real sorry for me.
Has anybody already talked about the boat? The Titanic thing? Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Like, look. Y'all, we can say things here that we can't say out there. That's what makes this place special, all right? If I said out there what I'm about to say it here, I'd be a lunatic. I saved it all day for in here, all right? I don't even know where to start. It really is the wildest. Like, how you go pay $250,000 and the captain using the controller I used to play Legend of Dragoon when I was 14. That's the same fucking controller, too. Not even an Xbox controller. They had a PS1 controller. PS1 doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Even PlayStation is like, that's the one you, ooh. I do feel horrible for Logitech as a company. I do, because they didn't have anything to do with this shit and the stock went down. Like, that's, you gotta remember how stocks work. Stocks work, none of it's real. So it all works on your belief in the thing. And so now we believe in Logitech less because somebody decided to stick it into the controller of a submarine. Logitech had nothing to do with it. Logitech didn't roll up and was like, hey, when you drive your submarine, they didn't do that. They were just being Logitech. And then the motherfucker was like, I like the way that controller looked. Fuck a wheel. Let's go ahead and use these sticks. You know what I mean? That's somebody that's like hella overconfident in their NBA Jam game. You're like, let me just go ahead and use what I was using while I was killing them on NBA. No, it's wild. It really is. This is crazy. And I don't even know, like, you almost don't know how to feel. And I think that's part of the problem is that everything happens so fast now, you have to know how you feel immediately. Because everyone has a take immediately. And that's not how the world works, you know? Sometimes you see something, you don't know how you feel about it when it happens. And you need a day or two. But that's not how the news cycle works, it's not how people work, it's not how social works, you know? That's a big problem I have. I'm never the person with like the first take. I try to think for a while and then have a good take on something. And I still don't have a good take on this. I'll admit that right now. Like I really don't. It's hella conflicting. Like I'll tell you who's not conflicted though, is the Titanic. The Titanic is like, wow. Like we up here, can we laugh about it? Can we not laugh about it? Whatever. Titanic just crip walking right now. I fucking got another one. That's crazy. That's wild. I don't know what to do with that. Like I feel weird about it because it's not all black and white. It's not all cut and dry, you know? Like there's a lot online that's like, hey, there was a boat full of refugees that capsized and didn't get any media attention and hundreds of people died, but then we're talking about these 5 rich people over and over. It's like, okay, sure, but like you can't just put all 5 people in it. You can't. One guy was the dumb captain. Do you know what I mean? And one person was a kid. That's a huge part that's left out of this thing. It's like that's the person who I actually do feel bad for in all this, even though he is like a billionaire son or whatever. I know it's easy to be like, fuck them all, but it's like that you could tell that kid went because he's like, it's Father's Day weekend. I can like. Oh. Get that motherfucker a tie, all right? That's not worth all that. And it really is crazy, because I understand what people are saying when they make that distinction, when they're like, you know, this person gets no media attention, these people do, why is there so many search crews for these people, and there wasn't any, it took the Coast Guard a long time to get out there to help people we knew were drowning, whatever. And just hear me out, sincerely, just hear me out. I think that whether it's media attention or it's help from any government or group of people, the reason that they got all that attention and the other people didn't is that no one is trying to be those refugees. Does that make sense? We've been conditioned our whole lives to try to be billionaires, try to be millionaires, try to be like someone. So then when something happens that looks like it would happen to us if we became them, we're interested in it. And the media's interested in it, and government's interested in it and stuff. And so I think that that's the main reason. It's not some media failing, it's us. It's how we live, it's how we think and everything, you know? Like, I want to know, how do you put it? It's not even a person thing. I'm most curious to know what the orcas think. Do you know what I mean? Just because they pretty deep, and so when that shit went down, that would scare the shit out of an orca. Like just a huge explosion out of nowhere. Orca's like, this is a bad neighborhood. I knew it. This is